Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dragon Toothless here. Just getting ready to do a nice little short writing stream for everybody to enjoy some low chaos, because of course we don't ever have chaos in this room. But just going to be doing some free writes just to relax, de-stress a little bit from the stressful week that we've been having. So we'll go ahead and rename this to free writes June 25, 2022. Also fix that R quickly. Okay, so basically for free writes, as I've done before in the channel, where you just basically create stories that are pretty short, so typically around 5 minutes of writing to get the ball going. So we'll do, say, 5 minutes of just writing once we get started. Um, don't know how things will go. Could have spelling errors. That's okay in a free write. Anything goes pretty much. But just wanted to let you know we're going to have some fun with this because I need to get back into writing. My brain has been fried as of late, and especially with everything that has been going on as of late. So just want to say also to all the ladies out there, you have my support, especially with all the frustrations. But enough of that for now. Let's get started, shall we? And my apologies, there may be a bit of a lag simply due to the fact that my phone is being used to notify me of any notifications from chat. Oh, and one other thing before I forget, there is still the event going on for donating bits to the channel. So if you want to go ahead and donate, or rather, ugh, my brain's fried. If you want to donate channel points towards my event, it currently has 7 days left, but I'm going to extend that out a little bit, give some people an opportunity to catch up. So far, we're at 12% of the 45,000 for the Renaissance Toothy event. So, yeah, this is just going to be a calm, chill, chaos-free stream. Although I know that a lot of people would probably typically turn around and say that I am not calm or chaos free. But again, certainly hope everybody is doing well. So let's get started. You can go ahead and watch along with me. So, first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull a idea out of the old brain, although I know my brain has been pretty fried as of late. My apologies for that as well. Just trying to get my phone to cooperate here for a moment. Okay, there we go. So, I'm going to start with the first one. Let me go ahead and set the timer up as well, because that's going to run in the background while we're writing. So again, it's just 5 minutes on timer. So let's go ahead and knock that down to 5 minutes. And we're going to go ahead and pull something from my old creative writing works. So we're going to go ahead and create some chaos with the premise of it being the summertime, which for the Northern Hemisphere at the moment it is, and it being a veritable heat wave here in Texas. So we're going to go ahead and throw something together with that. So let's go ahead and 3, 2, there will be a little bit of a pause, so I'm allowing myself an extra 5 seconds simply because of the fact that I do have to switch over between. So 3, 2, 1. That's one drawback to this, is it doesn't let me just indent the first line. Let's see.
Hey, did you wash your hands?
You idiot!
No! can see a miracle! He is the Messiah!
Hey there, Clarity Cat. Welcome on in, and thank you for sending the raid here. And we just actually wrapped up the timer for the first free raid.
I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
Yeah, everything's going pretty well. Just been busy working on this free write session. First one, as you can see, just wrapped up, but was just basically a modification of the heat wave when I was younger. But again, certainly hope you are all doing well. For those that remember me from Clarity Cat's stream a few minutes ago, my name is Dragon Toothless. I suppose I could be said as someone that causes chaos, but and certainly do thank you for the raid. And yeah, no worries. Certainly know that it's a hot day today, so stay cool and hydrated throughout the day, but also hope you both are able to enjoy the meal and also enjoy the fur balls as well, as I know those two little floofs do enjoy some time being playful. Oh, my throat. But for those that don't know, a free write is basically you pick something at random and write about it. I typically do for about 5-minute stints, though some people can go longer to 10 or 15 minutes. It's something that one of my creative writing professors back in university first had us do every day before we got down to the nitty-gritty of our work. Welcome on in as well, Mars. Glad to have you join us as well. So, as you can see from this first one, we'll go ahead and read it. And again, for a free write, there's no spelling mistakes. I know the computer likes to try and correct some things as well. But basically, we'll start with, if you ever wonder what it's like to be stuck in a heat wave, it's not the best feeling in the world. I remember as a child how we were let out of school for half the day simply because the temperatures were getting to be too hot for school, and we were drenched in sweat with no air conditioning. Indeed, we were doing a test in science class when the heat wave began, and I know that some of my classmates were complaining to the teacher about how hot it was. "Stop nagging to me about it," Mrs. Ledbetter replied as Sean complained. "I'm too hot, and I really don't want to hear about it from you at the moment." She took a paper towel and wiped her arms and head before throwing the drenched towel in the trash. If you all want to complain about the heat, complain to someone who can actually do something about it, and not to me. So that's the first one. We're just going to mark that as the 5 minutes is up. And now we'll go ahead and transition to another. But I'm actually going to ask chat a question. I want you to think of a plot idea for a free write. It'll be for the next one, not for this one. But I'd like for somebody in chat to think of a plot idea. It can be anything at all. It could be, say, a plot idea. It could be the first line of a story that you enjoy, which we can do a complete rewrite of the story. Anything at all. It could be what a character might do when they wake up in the morning. So I want somebody to throw... Oh, no worries, Celendria. We'll certainly welcome you. And certainly hope you're doing well. But yeah, like I said, if you all can think of something, it'll be for the next round. So it'll be for round 3. And But for now, we're going to go ahead and set up for our next free write, which is going to be based off of a Neil Gaiman story called Click Clack the Rattlebag. It's actually something I had students in my ninth grade classes work on, and they enjoyed it a lot, both when I was doing practicums and this past year as a teacher. So, we're going to go ahead and let me go back into here for just one moment. So it's based on that. What in the actual story, he has the main character introduced to creatures that you don't realize that they're an enemy until the very end of the story. But we're going to go ahead and do a modification of that sort of story. So set the timer back up on my phone for 5 minutes, allowing a few seconds, of course, for it to switch over. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, timer just went off. I'm going to finish this sentence. Okay. Could you tell me a bedtime story? Sarah's younger brother Nathan asked me. What would you like a story about? I'm not really one for children's stories myself. I want you to tell me a scary bedtime story. One that could give any kid nightmares for days. Why would you want a story like that? I asked, uncertain as to what Nathan was up to aside from chaos. I just want something that I could then tell my friends at school tomorrow and even have some fun with the teacher. So, in other words, you want me to give you nightmares so that you can then give nightmares to others, aka this chaos that your sister warned me about. Chaos? What do you mean? Nathan, always one to always pretend to be innocent when you first met him, had the aura of a devil within him, and loved to agitate and stir up trouble around others whenever he was given the opportunity, even if that trouble was in jest and not cruel or malicious. But it was still chaos, regardless of the intent. I'm just saying that Sarah warned me about how you love to stir things up and to be wary of your sly smile. Speaking of which, I can see that small cheeky grin beginning to form at the corners there. So let's go ahead and close that out. But yeah, there's no chaos anywhere at all, as everybody here can vouch. So let's see, what else have we got here? Second, I need to set something up here. Okay. Okay, so there's a little bit of a backstory to this next piece. I'm going to hold off on it actually because it's going to need a bit of time and I just need to hydrate quickly first. But suffice to say, even in university hours, it would cause chaos with one of my free write suggestions to the class in one semester. As the premise was that we all went ahead and, without the university's permission, broke into the Creative Writing Mansion to have an overnight party. And while we were in there, got sealed into the mansion with a snowstorm that delivered probably about 20-ish feet of snow in a few hours. So we were all stuck inside the mansion, and trouble began from there. So, yeah, my classmates were very much appreciative of that. Okay, let's see. But before I pull that one, is there any thoughts from anybody in chat on a piece on a suggestion or story idea they would like to see a creation come from? Because I have a couple more as well for later on. Also, my apologies to Mars. Just having some happy lemon right now. But I actually got it a couple of days ago. It's just been sitting in my room, but it's still good. Let's see. Okay, before I do any of the others, let me go ahead and I'm actually going to make a modification to something else. So I'm going to go ahead and I've actually been reading this story a couple of times in chat previously. It's called The Ice Dragon by the person who wrote the stories that would become Game of Thrones. So what we're going to do is actually take the first line from the story about the Winter Child, Adar. And we're going to rewrite the story to make it less troublesome for fans of dragons around the world. Let me see, what is. I also need to check something here. Okay. That's something that can wait. Because I just had somebody ping me on Discord. So let's go ahead and type the first sentence in just so I have it ready. Okay, so Adara liked the winter best of all, for when the world grew cold, the ice dragon came. So that is the opening sentence. So we'll go ahead and set the timer again for 5 minutes. Okay, and 3, 2, 1. Just wrap up this sentence, and then we'll get it read back to everyone. Okay, so again, the opening sentence of George R.R. Martin's The Ice Dragon is Adara liked the winter best of all, for when the world grew cold, the Ice Dragon came. And so we begin. Whenever the dragon appeared, you knew that the weather would turn cold and harsh, much like Scandinavian winters, which the Vikings would claim built character. So much so that when Adara was only 3 years old, she first met the dragon, who looked at her as if wondering what a human could find so interesting about dragons, much less an ice dragon which was wreathed in snow and ice. And again, this is a free write, so anything goes. There's no grammar or structural errors per se to a free write that one needs to be worried about. The dragon itself was not scared of her whenever it visited, and Adara would simply turn around and try to show respect to the dragon. When she was 6, she bowed, hoping that this would appease the ice dragon and let it know that she respected the grandeur and nobility of such a fine creature, and that as a child of the winter her blood was not warm to the touch, for her skin was always chilled, and her parents and siblings always avoided it even so much as hugging her or shaking her hand, out of fear for frostbite or being turned to ice in the process. Sounds like a certain character from Disney, that piece. Now, the dragon gazed at Adara as she bowed, uncertain as to why she was so intent, even after these many years, to try and befriend a beast which humans naturally feared and tried their hardest to hunt the ice dragons, along with all other dragons, to extinction. And of course, I mean, we can all say the most important thing is to tell Olaf what happens to snow in the spring and summer. Because that's the most wonderful experience in the world, to tell Olaf what happens to snow in the summertime. Let's see. So again, that's another style of free write that we were introduced to with Dr. Rochelle, who was my original creative writing professor. He's long retired now. But let's see, let's move on to our next piece. We'll do probably a few more, and then we're going to go ahead and transition to the next phase of the project for today. Let's see now. Also, Sweet Disaster, I just noticed the follow there from earlier. I do certainly appreciate the follow there. Um, yeah, it's just that my computer is going a bit slow at the moment. Apologies. Let me see. What is going on here?
Toothless, don't you start.
What did I do? Hello there, Lord Niavasa. Certainly hope you're doing well today. Just busy working on some free writes. Busy pulling the next free write together at the moment. So let's go ahead, as you can see, because these are some of the free writes we've already worked on today. Each of them separated by the asterisks to mark them off. So we're just setting up for the next one. I mean, you can blame Rob, or you could blame Purple Dolphin, or any of those group. They all have fun together. Uh, Hopefully, we'll be able to all get another round of chaos in the future. Let's see. Just busy putting the next free write together. So this last one, just to quickly recap, for the last free write, because I did them 5-minute spurts. This line here, which is the Adara like the winter festival for when the world grew cold, the ice dragon came. That's from a story called The Ice Dragon by George R. R. Martin, who is the writer for the series that became Game of Thrones. But we're going to go ahead and put in a new free write task for this next 5-minute spurt. And for that, I'm going to go ahead and move it over to another one of my old creative writing projects from university. So the premise is going to be something that people here may find recognizable. For those that didn't notice, I just wrote the following. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. That was one of the free write assignments we had for one day in class for creative writing back at university. So the professor had pulled that as one of the first lines. So he said, rewrite this. So in other words, you're going to start The Hobbit as if it's a completely new story. So let's go ahead and set up the timer again for 5 minutes. Okay. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, the timer is up. I'll just go ahead and finish this sentence off. Okay. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Hobbits were a creature that is somewhat difficult to describe. They resembled a fluff of dryland with matchstick legs and toothpick-like arms, and the head of a pickle with spider-like eyes. They ate out of their homes by eating the dirt in a tunneling fashion to where they could be satiated after maybe a few feet, and then start again the next day upon doing a rainbow ice cream poop, much like the old unicorn ads on YouTube. If you ever met a hobbit, it would talk to you as if it were in reverse. So instead of saying, "Good morning, how are you?" a hobbit would say, "Yui ira wo, girium dug." This naturally created confusion for us humans, especially when attempting to create peace treaties with the beings. For this particular hobbit in the story, their name was Akadabu, and they were considered a somewhat sinister hobbit at that, with having interrupted the village elders with flatulence while a council meeting was taking place. So that's another one complete. So yeah, like I said, it's 5-minute spurts for me, and then it just helps with getting the creative writing process going for everybody. But there's no right or wrongs to a free write. So let's go ahead and set up for the next one. And you shall have to wait, unfortunately, because I am streaming at the moment. Let's see. So, yeah, that was just my sister calling. So for this next one, this one's good. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna get that little title, but I'll explain the context. This is actually gonna sort of be both a free write and an autobiography of sorts from when I was younger. So let's go ahead and set up the timer. But I'm sure people will, when they hear the story, will turn around and say, "I'm starting to sense that you were someone of somewhat chaotic, even as a young child." So 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Nicola 1103 cheered. X1.
Oh, hey there, Nicola. Welcome on in. Just busy doing free writes at the moment. Certainly thank you for the biddy as well. I'll be back to you in just a moment, though, because like I said, I'm just in the middle of doing some free writes, but certainly hope you're doing well. Let's see. Busy writing a quick story here, which is sort of an autobiography at the same time. I just wanted to finish the sentence there. So, yeah. Semi autobiography for this free write. So let's get started. As children, my sister and I would regularly go to one of the various provincial parks within an hour's drive of where we lived, or to the cottage in the neighboring province. While in the water, I would at times struggle to swim, and so I would get my sister to help me learn to swim outside of the basic dog paddle. And it was this momentum which brought us to the chaos which my sister did not enjoy, although I cannot for the life of me understand what there wasn't to enjoy about something so amusing and hilarious to me at the time, even though in hindsight it probably wasn't as funny to her as it was to me in those moments. But then again, siblings are meant to have fun together, and that was what this was. Fun, plain and simple. Getting back to the story, however, I was getting some help in the water from my sister, who then turned around as I began swimming towards her, at which point I cried out, "Mommy!" and threw my arms around my sister before pushing her down under the water and laughing as she regained herself and swam back up. I continued, but again, it's a free ride, so not an issue, to cackle while this was happening, and it didn't happen only one time, although my sister has long since forgiven me and let bygones be bygones. So yeah, no chaos whatsoever from the dragon. Yeah, I'm doing well. Just surviving the heat wave here in Texas at the moment, but hopefully it will clear up end of next month, because usually they say June and July are the hottest months for this area, and then it cools down again by August. But yeah, that's basically the free ride. So I've got a few done so far. So if we scroll back up, you can see that's the one we just read. There's "In a Hole in the Ground There Lived a Hobbit," which is a reference to J.R.R. Tolkien's piece. Then we have the opening to the story I read a couple of times in the past, The Ice Dragon, where it says, "Adara liked the winter best of all, for when the world grew cold, the Ice Dragon came." Then there was this opening to Nathan wanting his older sister Sarah's boyfriend to read to tell him a scary bedtime story. And also, speaking of heat waves, one for students complaining to their teacher during a heat wave because of how hot it was, and the fact that everybody was drenched in sweat. So that's what we have so far. Let's get set up for the next one. So each of these are about 5 minutes in length for timer. And again, there's no right or wrongs really to a free write. It's just a way to get the creative juices going in the mind. So for this next one, let me see. I'm probably going to do one or two more, and then I'll transition over. Let's see. So for the next one, let me go ahead and see, what can I use as a reference? Oh, and 1 second, I just need to desperately hydrate. Some nice happy lemon. Oh, I know what I can do that one of. Let me see. Just writing the topic piece right now for it. Okay, gather the 108 stars and fight your enemy with truth and valor in your heart. So this is a reference to an old Konami game series called Suikoden, which was released for the PlayStation 1 and 2. The first two games were issued on the PlayStation 1, and then 3 through 5 were done on PlayStation uh, 2, as well as Tactics, which is a spin-off of Suikoden 4. So in the game, your objective is to recruit your allies, all 108 of them, to face off against your ultimate enemy. So we're going to go ahead and work with that as a premise for this, and my apologies, as this does require a little bit of chaos of a different sort. So, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so just finish that off. So, again, gather the 108 stars and fight your enemy with truth and valor in your heart. Richard walked into the chamber, unaware of what lay ahead. He only knew that his years of training in the martial arts had led him to this moment of being a soldier in the King's army, and that his family back home were patiently awaiting his return after a peace treaty with the neighboring Republic of Ashgal had been penned that morning. The commander of his youth brigade troop had allowed the boys to explore the temple nearby, which had been abandoned for many years, and while exploring, Richard and his best friend Zoe had both found themselves entering a hidden door which led to the room they now found themselves in. A statue of a woman stood before them both. "Where are we?" Zoe asked. "I don't know, but the statue seems oddly realistic for being a rock carving, don't you think?" Richard could swear that it almost seemed to be real. "This thing?" Zoe replied, tapping it and hearing the thud of stone. "It's rock. That I can be certain of." Yeah, no worries. Certainly hope you have a good rest of your day, Nicola, and thanks for stopping on by, and hope you are doing well. I'll probably be getting off soon myself because uh, my sister actually texted me to say that she just wants to chat for a little bit. It's nothing urgent. I know that because otherwise she would have registered it. But we'll go ahead. I know this was pretty short. We'll go ahead and read on out. So let me see. Who can we raid out to and cause some chaos? Okay, I know who we can raid on out to, so just give me a second. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and read on out to Cal Noel, who's doing talk shows and podcasts. So we'll continue the calmness with that. But certainly do thank you all for coming to the stream today. I'm going to go ahead and set us up for the raid. And if you are a sub, that is the raid message for you. I don't unfortunately have a separate one for anyone that is not a subscriber at the moment. My apologies on that. And then we are going to go ahead. So once again, thank you everybody for joining us today. Go ahead and send some love over, and we will see you in the next episode. And once again, thank you everybody for joining us today.